Dear students, in this lecture I am going to discuss speed control of DC motors. Recall, electrical torque in DC machine is given by phi PZIA upon 2 pi A. We have already derived in our previous lectures. So let us represent electrical torque by TE, and later for load torque we will represent TL. The same can be written as machine constant Ka times phi Ia, where Ka is Pz upon 2 pi A. Also, back EMF in DC motor may be written as the same machine constant Ka times phi into omega, speed in radian per second. This may further be written as terminal voltage Vt minus Ia Ra. In case of DC series, this will be Ra plus Rac. We have already discussed in our previous lectures. So today our focus will be on this speed. We are going to control the speed at a desired value. So first write a speed in terms of other parameters like this Vt minus IaRa upon Ka times phi. So if you want to control this, you may control this flux per pole, you may control this terminal voltage, you may control this armature resistance, but you can't control this Ia, armature current, because armature current depends on the load. If load will vary, armature current drawn from the supply will vary, as we are not going to use constant current source. So Ia can't be controlled. Similarly, Ka can't be controlled because Ka is Pz upon 2 pi A. Once you have designed your windings for a particular number of poles using particular number of conductors, forming particular parallel paths. So once designed, you can't change any one of these. So this constant can't be controlled. As discussed, armature current depends on the load, hence can't be controlled. So remaining three parameters can be controlled: flux per pole, that is phi, armature resistance, terminal voltage. So based on the control of these three parameters, three types of speed controlled are like, by controlling phi, field flux control. Similarly, by controlling armature terminal voltage, known as armature voltage control. Similarly, by controlling armature resistance, known as armature resistance control. We will discuss these all three methods one by one. The first two methods are generally preferred over the third one, as this leads to higher losses and poor efficiency. We will discuss later. So first we will discuss field flux control, this one. In field flux control, we are going to control this phi by varying field current, and field current can be varied by varying effective field resistance. So if we will take the example of DC shunt, first write field flux control, and under this first we will discuss for DC shunt then for series. So write DC shunt motor. So we are going to discuss field flux control, also known as field current control or field weakening control method. So in this method, we are going to change flux by changing field current. You are aware of this diagram, right? This is DC shunt motor. This is armature terminals, armature current, field current and line current, terminal voltage. So in this method, our purpose is to change phi by changing IF. This is external resistor connected in series with shunt field winding. So if this R external is 0, it means initially IF was Vt upon RF. Let us take IF1 initially or IF0. Once external resistor Rext is added in series with RF, then the field current will change to Vt upon RF plus Rext. Obviously, field current IF2 will be lesser than IF1 as we have increased its denominator. So IF will be decreased, hence corresponding phi created by this IF will be decreased. Once phi is decreased, omega will be increased. It seems like that, just wait for a while. It's not that IA will remain constant throughout. What will happen to IA, I will discuss now before concluding the resultant effect. So far we discussed by increasing shunt field winding resistance, IF is decreased, hence phi is decreased. So what will happen to this EB? We are decreasing phi. Omega will not increase instantaneously due to inertia of this machine. Suddenly it will not increase. So the moment we have decreased phi, EB will decrease. So we will write here what we did. We increased RF. Due to this, IF has decreased. By decreasing IF, phi has decreased. As omega can't be changed instantaneously and phi has been decreased, it means EB will decrease. EB will be decreased. As soon as EB is decreased, we have constant supply voltage. So apply KVL. So this drop is nothing but this drop plus drop across brushes. Drop across brushes. So if we will ignore brush drop, so we will write IA is equal to Vt minus EB upon RA. If you want to take brush drops, then you may write here minus VBD also. Fine. If ignored, then ignore it. So as EB is decreasing, Vt is maintained constant. So this difference is increasing. It means IA will increase. So IA will increase. Now, phi is decreased, IA is increased, and we know that electrical torque is depending on these two. So phi has been decreased, IA has been increased. So both are contradicting. One is decreasing, one is increasing. So what will happen to TE? Whether it will increase or decrease? Just have a check. Let us assume certain value of Vt. Let us take Vt equal to 230 volt. Let us take some value of Ra. Let us take 0.25 ohm. And initially the motor was drawing an armature current, let us take 20 ampere. So initially what was Eb? Initially Eb will be, if we are ignoring brush drop, then Eb will be Vt, that is 220 volt, minus Ia 20 into 0.25. So this is coming out to be 20, fine, 5, just calculate it, fine. Now let us decrease phi by 1%, so that now phi 2 becomes 0.9951, fine. Now corresponding back EMF Eb2 will be equal to, let us write this as Eb1. So Eb2 will be equal to, phi has been decreased, constant Ka, put this formula, Ka times phi 2 omega. I am not writing omega 2 as omega can't be changed instantaneously due to inertia of the machine. So we are talking about the moment when suddenly the field flux is decreased by 1%, the moment when we have decreased the field flux. So Eb2 becomes this, and this may further be written as Ka times 0.9951 omega, that is 0.99 Eb1, fine. Now what happens to armature current? So Ia, let us represent Ia2. Ia2 becomes, Vt remains same, 220 volt terminal voltage, minus Eb2 0.99 Eb1. This is Vt is 230, right? So put 230, whatever we have taken, just put the same. If we have taken 230, so whatever we have taken, so this becomes 230 minus 2.5 times 225. So this is 225, decrease 1%, that is 2.25, that becomes 2.75 volt, 0.99 of this, right? Decrease 1%, 2.25, so 225 minus 2.25 becomes, okay, fine, just check it. So whatever we are getting upon 0.25. So substitute this value of Eb2 here and just check Ia2, I have calculated. So this Ia2 is coming out to be 29 ampere. 29 ampere. It means as soon as phi is decreased by 1%, armature current has increased, it should increase, but increased by, let me the percentage from 20 to 2.9, so divide it 9, that is 1.45 times Ia1. It means Ia2 has increased by 45%. It has become 1.45 times, 45%. So we can conclude for the given data, a small decrease in phi results in larger increase in Ia. In other words, percentage decrease in Ia is much larger than percentage decrease in phi. So finally, we can conclude that TE increases due to larger increase in IA. However, phi is decreased, but the extent is very less as compared to the extent of increasing IA. Once TE will increase, earlier machine was running at certain speed omega, let us say omega, because there was balance between the two torques, electrical torque and mechanical torque. Hence, a speed was maintained, let us say omega 1. We concluded that by decreasing phi, IA increases much higher than phi, decrease in phi. As a result of this, TE increases. Once TE increases, motor starts accelerating. So a speed starts increasing. Now, a speed has started increasing. We are talking about transient period. So once omega will start increasing, EB will start increasing. So next we will write after this. After this, TE becomes higher than TL because TE increases. Then omega increases. Then what happens? When omega increases, now EB starts increasing. Now EB starts increasing with increasing omega. When EB starts increasing, now IA starts decreasing from this value. Whatever sudden increase in IA was there, that will start decreasing. So from that value, IA will start decreasing. When IA will start decreasing, this IA, TE will start decreasing from this value initially, increased value. So once TE will start decreasing, this difference will start decreasing. So acceleration of the motor will start decreasing. But still, omega will continue to increase. As long as acceleration will be there, whether small or large, speed of the motor will increase. So TE will continue to decrease, omega will continue to increase till TE becomes equal to TL. As it is continuously decreasing, so the moment will come when again TE will become equal to TL at its initial condition. During this, omega has continuously increased, so this will settle down at a speed higher than the previous speed, higher than the omega 1. So this way, by decreasing phi, we have increased omega, but we have discussed what will happen in between. Remember that a machine can only run at a constant speed when electrical torque and load torques are equal. So we have not changed the load so far in our discussion. Let us take constant load torque. TL was constant. So whatever TL was earlier, the same TL is maintained so far. But different types of load will be there, we will discuss later. Load may be constant torque load or variable torque load. Load torque may also vary with the variation of a speed or will be independent of the variation of a speed. If load torque is constant independent of a speed or any other factor, then we will say that constant load torque or constant torque load. So for that constant torque load, what happened earlier, by increasing effective shunt field resistance, IF decreased, IF was decreased, then phi was decreased, EB was decreased, hence IA was increased. By increasing IA, TE becomes higher than TL, hence motor started accelerating. As motor started accelerating, omega started increasing, EB started increasing, EB started increasing, and hence IA started decreasing, and so on. So finally, it will settle down at a speed higher than the previous speed. So far we have increased the speed. If we will further increase IXT, speed will be further increased. We will discuss in next lectures. What would be the minimum value of REXT external? 0. We can cut out the external resistance. So corresponding to that, this will be rated value of shunt field winding resistance. So corresponding to this rated RF, IF will be rated, phi will be rated. So corresponding to that, speed will be rated. So in this control, we can conclude that by varying external resistance from 0 to some higher value, speed can be increased from its rated value, also known as base value. Rated speed is also known as base speed. So from base value to some higher value. So with this method, field flux control, also known as field current control method or field weakening method, we can control the speed of motor, whether shunt or series, we will discuss series later, above its base speed, that is rated speed. So far we discussed that TE again becomes equal to TL by decreasing phi. It means IA has been increased to get the same load torque. Just note down this point. For same load torque, we have not changed the load. So to get the same electrical torque as earlier, by decreasing phi, IA has to be increased, which will lead some other problem. Excess heating. If IA will be more than its rated value, so the ohmic loss in armature winding will be higher, as it is equal to a square times IA square RA. So it will decrease the efficiency. So to limit IA at its rated value, the maximum torque, the limit of maximum torque will be reduced. We will discuss this in continuation of this video lecture in next part of this video lecture. Thank you very much.